Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the academic procession.
By virtue of the authority vested in me, I constitute this a congregation of Rhodes University. May you please join us in observing a moment of silence in memory of the late Mamuini Matikizela Mandela. Thank you very much. You may be seated.
The Chancellor, the Honorable Justice Lex Mpati, the Chairperson of the Rhodes University Council, Mr. Vuyo Khatla, and other members of our council, the Chairperson of the Rhodes University Convocation, Professor Emeritus Peter Mtuza, our honorary graduate, Professor Vishnu Padayachi, University Public Orator, Distinguished Professor Paul Malam, Deputy Vice Chancellors, Deans, Registrar, Heads of our academic departments and Directors of Administrative Divisions, academic and support staff colleagues, President and other members of the Student Representative Council, proud parents, guardians, siblings, friends of our graduates, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, most of all, our graduates. It is a signal honor and a great privilege for me to welcome you all to the fourth of 6 graduation ceremonies of 2018 at Rhodes University. Let me extend a special word of welcome to the grade 11 and 12 learners, their parents and teachers of our local high schools, Nombulelo and Siga Secondary Schools, Nathaniel Nyaluza, Kutliso Daniels, TEM Mkhwetyana, and Mary Waters High Schools, who are joining these proceedings via a live streaming link at sites in Joza and Vergenoeg. As a university, Rhodes exists for the public good, and to this end, wish to celebrate this momentous occasion with the community of which we are a part and to which we are inextricably bound. Walking across the stage today, we will be inspired by many first-generation graduates from our Grahamstown community. We know that the journey of each graduate has been a communal effort, and hence this communal celebration. We hope that these young Rhodes graduates will make us all proud by not only inspiring others with their success, but also supporting local learners to reach greater heights. We are grateful to the Government Communication Information System, GCIS, the Department of Education and our divisions of Communications and Advancement, as well as Community Engagement, for making this technological connection possible. We are very proud of being part of the greater Grahamstown community and are committed to making a positive change in this community. Not as an act of charity or benevolence, but as a recognition of our common humanity and an acknowledgement of our shared destiny. Our vision is to make Grahamstown a center of educational opportunity for all young people of Grahamstown, from early childhood all the way to tertiary education. Graduation ceremonies are a major highlight in our university calendar of events. They afford us a special opportunity to recognize, honor, and celebrate the academic success and achievements of our new graduates. Graduation is a significant milestone, which marks one of the most memorable experiences in the life of a young person. It is a culmination of many years of hard work and personal sacrifice, a moment of joy and pride for parents and other family members, a time of celebration, a time to reflect on the road traveled and to look forward to a future filled with great promise. On behalf of our council and the entire Rhodes University community, I offer our warm congratulations to each one of you, our graduates, on your wonderful achievement. Completing a Rhodes University qualification is a particularly demanding undertaking. You and your family are justifiably proud of your remarkable personal accomplishment. Let me extend our deep and heartfelt congratulations to those graduates who are the first in their family to earn a university degree. Having been one myself, I know too well just what a proud and special moment this is for you. This day will remain deeply etched on your memory and will be a source of inspiration for you and for the rest of your life. Each one of you, our graduates, has your own unique story to tell about your journey to the glorious achievement we are celebrating this afternoon. For some of you, the journey to this day has been a long and a difficult one. It has been marked by twists and turns, failures and disappointments that threaten to derail your dreams, hopes, and aspirations. Others have had to confront and negotiate struggles of financial hardships that left them uncertain at the beginning of each year as to whether or not they would be able to continue with their studies. The fact that you are here this afternoon is testament to your incredible resilience, perseverance, and resolve to rise above all hurdles that lay on your way. You have pulled through. Well done, and hearty congratulations. Graduates, you would be the first to acknowledge that you would not have made it this far were it not for the unfailing support, loving sacrifices, and constant encouragement of your parents, guardians, siblings, friends, and loved ones. They have walked this journey with you. They have shared your setbacks, your disappointments and anxieties. They have been there to provide advice and to cheer you up and cheer you on at times when you had lost all hope. Their hearts are full of joy and excitement this afternoon. I can only imagine the deep sense of relief they must be feeling now that they don't have to worry about your university fees and the other costs that are incidental to being a university student. Can you please join me in warmly thanking and appreciating the families and all those who have supported you. Thank you. On your behalf, our graduates, we wish to offer our deep gratitude and sincere appreciation to your lecturers, tutors, laboratory technicians, computer assistants, support and administrative staff for their guidance, mentoring, support, and encouragement during the demanding times of your studies. We also acknowledge with great gratitude the important role played by our cleaners, the cooks, gardeners, janitorial staff, wardening staff, and student leaders in creating a rich and supportive intellectual, social, and physical environment for our students to develop, grow, and succeed. The success of our students is their just reward. In our 2018 graduation ceremonies, we will also recognize, honor, and celebrate distinguished individuals whose profound and exceptional contributions to our nation and humankind are worthy of our recognition. Their personal journeys and selfless service and sacrifices serve as an inspiration and an example worthy of emulation by all of us. These are women and men whose significant achievements in public life and distinction in some field or selfless leadership set them apart from others and are consonant with our own institutional mission, purposes, and values. Our university will be greatly honored to confer honorary degrees to these remarkable people. They are Professor Emeritus Peter Mtuza, Justice Dikgang Moseneke, Ms. Yvonne Chagachaga, Professor Vishnu Padayachi, Dr. Andrew Mlangeni, and Dr. Cindy Magona. We are deeply grateful that 4 of the 6 will grace us with their presence at our graduation ceremonies. We have arranged a special ceremony for the other 2, Justice Dikgang Moseneke and Ms. Yvonne Chagachaga, later in the year. In the 6 graduation ceremonies of 2018, a total of 2,492 students will receive their degrees and diplomas. Of these, 1,456, or 58%, are undergraduate bachelor's degrees, and 1,036, or 42%, are postgraduate degrees and diplomas. Of the 1,036 postgraduate students, 229 will be receiving their master's degrees. And of the 2,492 graduates, listen carefully, 63% are women. Sithi malibongwe. Malibongwe. Masibonge impokotho. And 16% are international students. This year we have produced 88 PhD graduates. And the Faculty of Science has produced 44. The Faculty of Humanities, 22. And the Faculty of Commerce, you'll be seeing them shortly, 6. Faculty of Education, 13. Faculty of Law, 1. And the Faculty of Pharmacy, 2. All our faculties have done exceedingly well. Our warm congratulations to all the faculty deans, heads of department, and the academic and support staff of our academic departments. These fabulous statistics bear testimony to the standing of our university as a preeminent center of academic excellence. We enjoy the best undergraduate pass and graduation rates of any South African university. We have outstanding postgraduate success rates. We share the first position with another university in research output per academic staff member. Among the African Research Universities Alliance, ARUA, we are ranked as the most efficient research university. Thanks to the excellent work of our Community Engagement Office, we are a leading South African university in community engagement and in engaged research. It is our conviction that these metrics serve as the bedrock foundation for the success we witness today amongst our graduates, and our firmly held belief that our graduates are well poised to lead in South Africa and beyond. Let me, for a moment, address myself to our graduates. You have received outstanding higher education from one of the finest universities in the country. With your Rhodes University qualification, you have a great many opportunities ahead of you. Your education has equipped you with knowledge and developed the values to imagine a different and a better future for our society and humankind. Equally important, your education has given you the skills and abilities to be able to contribute to the realization of a better tomorrow, one that is more just, more humane, more equitable, more compassionate, more inclusive, fairer, and more respectful of every citizen. Your graduation this afternoon fills us with great hope, optimism, and confidence that you will place at the service of humankind the knowledge, skills, values, and attitudes you have gained at Rhodes, and thereby help us advance our shared objective of creating this society and the world of our dreams. As you cross the stage on this auspicious occasion, your challenge is to hold fast to the belief that you can and will contribute to the remaking of our society and our world. You are more than equal to the challenges that face our society and humankind. With your graduation this afternoon, you join a small, powerful, and privileged segment of our society, a knowledge elite. In the globalized world, membership of this knowledge elite has the potential to bring you enormous financial and social rewards. However, it also carries with it special duties, obligations, and responsibilities you cannot and dare not shirk. Always remember, to whom much is given, much is expected. We expect you to use your privileged position as truly educated men and women to advance social justice, substantive equality, and human dignity for all. We expect you to stand up for what is right, just, and fair. And wherever you find yourself, we expect you to exercise leadership. The kind of leadership which, according to Utatu Robert Mangaliso Sobukwe, demands complete subjugation of self, absolute honesty, integrity and uprightness of character, courage and fearlessness, and above all, a consuming love of one's people. We are sending you out into the world as liberated, educated, compassionate, and caring people, so that your presence can liberate others. We are sending you out as a force for good. We are sending you out as a voice for the voiceless, as a voice of reason, truth, justice, and hope. In a society and world fraught with frightening levels of anger, intolerance, selfishness, poverty, and inequality. We are sending you out to serve our society and humanity with honor, integrity, compassion, empathy, and humility. We may have not taught you everything you need to know to navigate the challenges and pitfalls of life. Reason and experience tell us we could not have done this even if we tried. However, what your education at this great and distinctive university has given you is the ability to learn and how to think and how to solve problems. So as you move on with the next phase of your lives, never cease to appreciate the value of learning, the significance of knowledge, the strength of ideas, the merit of asking questions, the usefulness of theory, the need for reason and evidence, the power of logic, the benefits that come from clear thinking and thoughtful argument. Above all, never forget that one of the most important things we have tried to teach you is the value of keeping a mind open to views and perspectives that are different to those that you may hold. Now that you have a qualification from this great university, you are able to make life choices and define for yourself what success, happiness, and fulfillment might mean. The choices you make will shape and define the person that you will become and the legacy that you will bequeath humankind. Whatever choices you make in life, Never elevate personal ambition or single-minded pursuit of material or financial gain above everything else. In particular, never allow the temptation of instant gratification to cloud your good judgment. Whatever the future holds for you, always strive to be the best that you can possibly be. Always strive to live a life of virtue, a life of consequence. And never allow the fear of failure to drive you into the safety and placidity of inaction. President Nelson Mandela taught us that courage is not the absence of fear, but triumph over it. From every failure, draw inspiration and courage to try harder. Never sacrifice the values of personal integrity, the values of fairness and honesty. And never discount any experience in life, no matter how it might seem insignificant. However you choose to define success, fulfillment, or happiness, never forget who you are or where you come from. Never forget those who have supported you and stood by you through all your ups and downs. And however you choose to define success, fulfillment, or happiness, never fail to treat others with respect, kindness, and decency. And however you choose to define success, fulfillment, or happiness, never fail to pause once in a while to assess what it is that really matter in life. And take time to appreciate those little things in life. As a graduate of this great university, you join a special community of our alumni, extraordinary women and men who are making remarkable contributions and leading change in many and diverse fields of human endeavor. They are found in our classrooms as educators, in our hospital dispensaries as pharmacists, in our courts as lawyers, magistrates, and judges, in our financial services institutions as accountants and CEOs, in our laboratories as scientists, in our newsrooms as journalists. They are entrepreneurs and they are thought leaders. They are all playing their part to create a better society and a better world. Animated by our motto, Vis Virtus Veritas, and inspired by our slogan, Where Leaders Learn, they are committed to bequeathing future generations a better society and a better world than the one they inherited from the generation before theirs. We will expect no less from you. We welcome you to this special and ever-growing community, and we invite you to visit the alumni table in the foyer to receive your special graduation gift as a memento of this special occasion. While in the foyer, you will also see a table set up by the SRC Ubuntu Fund. I urge you to contribute generously to the fundraising initiative of our Student Representative Council. The fund is intended to assist our students who are in financial distress. In the years to come, we will follow your growth, development, and success as a professional with keen interest, and we will applaud you for the honor and credit you bring to your alma mater. But today is your special day to cherish and to remember. You have earned it. May you look back on this glorious day with great pride and warm memories, and may it serve as an inspiration and a springboard towards better and exciting things in life for you. May the friendships formed at Rhodes and rooted in the shared experiences and memories sustain you and last you a lifetime. We wish you much strength, we wish you courage, we wish you happiness, we wish you fulfillment, but above all, we wish you discernment. And to all of you, our graduates, Mazal Tov. Asante sana, inkosi gyalibocha, ngiyabonga, gyaliboa, ndoliboa, ngiyathokoza, obrigado, inkom, shukran, merci beaucoup, baya danki, thank you very much.
In recent decades, there have been intense debates surrounding South Africa's current and future economic policy and trajectory, with fierce contestation between, on the one side, advocates of socialism or social democracy, and on the other, adherents to a free market or neoliberal position. One thinks back to the Reconstruction and Development Programme in the early 1990s, followed by GEAR, that is, growth, employment and redistribution, from the mid-1990s, through to the recent call for what is called radical economic transformation. Deeply involved in these debates for the past 30 years or more has been Professor Vishnu Padiachi, one of the country's foremost economists. A crucial phase in these debates was the early 1990s, the period of transition to democracy, when a number of leading thinkers and scholars came together in the Macroeconomic Research Group to map out a post-apartheid economic trajectory for South Africa. Vishnu Padiachi was an important member of this group, which put forward a bold plan to tackle the gross inequalities and poverty inherited from the past. A plan that, in the event, would gain only limited practical support and implementation from the future ANC government. A distinguished academic career ahead did not always seem likely for the young Vishnu growing up in Umkomaas, south of Durban. His high school did not have a lot going for it, a very basic library and a sports field that sloped at an angle of 20 degrees, far from ideal for Vishnu, who had a schoolboy passion for cricket. There followed study at a university campus for Indian students on Salisbury Island, requiring a ferry ride from Durban Harbour. This until the opening of the University of Durban Westville, UDW, in 1972, now involving a daily journey 40 kilometres each way from Umkomaas to Westville, a journey made bearable by card games and political debates with fellow students. A first-class BCom honours degree paved the way for a brilliant academic career. First, a teaching post in economics at UDW. From 1984, a research fellowship at UDW's Institute for Social and Economic Research, where an appointment to a professorship came in 1995. In 1997, moving to an equivalent post in the School of Development Studies at the Durban campus at what was then the University of Natal, serving as head of this school in 2 separate stints. Under his leadership, this school, recognized by the World Bank as being among the 10 best such schools in the world. There have also been visiting fellowships at the Johns Hopkins University in the US, as well as at Cambridge, Oxford, and Stellenbosch. A visiting professorship, too, at Rhodes between 2012 and 2014, teaching a cutting-edge economics course and supervising postgraduates. He currently serves as the Distinguished Professor of Economics at Wits. When one thinks of South Africans who have over time worked in both the trade union movement and the business sector, the person who immediately springs to mind is President Ramaphosa. Another such person is Vishnu Padiachi. From the late 1970s, involved in worker education programs for the black trade union movement, first with FOSATU and then with COSATU. Later, he would find himself assuming a number of directorships, appointed by President Mandela to the board of the South African Reserve Bank in 1996, serving there for nearly 12 years. Also stints on the boards of the Itala Development Finance Corporation, the Dubai Trade Port, and Cricket South Africa. Note too, a formidable record of publications, 7 co-authored or co-edited books on various topics, mostly in the field of African political economy, with a special focus on South Africa, but also books on Durban, on Indian workers, and on cricket. Add to this over 36 book chapters and close to 100 articles in scholarly journals. He's not only an author of books, but also a collector and a seller of books, having once been the co-owner of Ike's, the famed South African second-hand bookshop in Durban. In his thinking and writing, Professor Padiachi has taken his place among the country's leading economists who have consistently challenged the conventional free market orthodoxies that have been so dominant across the world in the past 40 or so years. Originally trained in Keynesian macroeconomics, he has over time moved into an intellectual tradition that can be loosely called radical political economy, with its focus on poverty, structural inequality, and social injustice. What about his politics? In the mid-1980s, he was drawn into underground ANC work, his home a safe house for ANC activists. But he left the party in 2005, unhappy with President Mbeki's denialist stance on AIDS. And earlier, he had steered clear of the Natal Indian Congress, being uncomfortable with any kind of ethnic politics. He may have just passed the normal academic retirement age, but he remains as energized as ever, pursuing a number of research interests. Among them, monetary policy, broader macroeconomic issues in post-apartheid South Africa, and historical studies of South African capitalism and ANC economic policy. In recognition of his immense contribution to scholarship and economic thinking, he has been elected as a member of both the Royal Society of South Africa and the Academy of Sciences of South Africa. And in 2016, he was inducted into the prestigious Johns Hopkins University Society of Scholars. Today, Rhodes is proud to be the first university to award Professor Padiachi an honorary doctorate. We are honoring a globally renowned economist who has consistently challenged current orthodoxies and neoliberal policies, doing so from a standpoint that prioritizes the public good over individual advancement and private enrichment. One observer has said of Professor Padiachi that he has demonstrated the value of engaged scholarship and academia as a vocation of choice for students, young academics, and senior scholars interested in contributing to the social transformation of their society through the most rigorous of scholarly endeavour. Mr. Chancellor, I have the honour to request you to confer on Vishnu Padiachi the degree of Doctor of Economics honoris causa.
Chancellor, Vice Chancellor, Chairman of Council, members of Council and Senate, Comrade Tata Andrew Marangeni, who I believe is in the audience, members of Council and Senate, members of staff, graduating students, friends, and comrades. Quote, "This is by far the greatest honor that has ever been conferred upon me." So claimed internationally famous and enigmatic Durban poet Roy Campbell on the award of an honorary doctorate in literature by the University of Natal in 1954. While I do not share all aspects of his political philosophy, I am able with pride to echo Dr. Campbell's exact words this afternoon. This is by far the greatest honor that has been conferred upon me. Chancellor, I have entitled my short address today, Reconnecting Economics to the Human Condition. Let me begin by thanking all of you at Rhodes University for the great honor you have conferred on me with the award of this honorary doctorate in economics. Rhodes University holds a very special place in my life and in my career for a few different reasons. I'll mention two. Firstly, as you will have heard from the orator, I was a visiting professor extraordinaire in the Institute for Socio-Economic Research from 1st July 2012 to the 31st of December 2014, after having spent 10 years as a bureaucrat, as a head of a very large university department at the University of Natal. Those few short years here at Rhodes helped to re-galvanize and re-energize me as a researcher and a publisher at a time when I could easily have slid into an unremarkable and early retirement after things fell apart at my former university. The atmosphere and collegiality I found in both the ISER and the Department of Economics where I lectured were at that time very special and rare, especially in academic contexts. Secondly, a former senior member of the staff of the economics department at Rhodes University in a very different era played an absolutely pivotal role in shaping my vision, my values, my competence such as it is, and my thinking as an economist. That person was Professor Robert Trevor Bell, who was my colleague at the Institute for Social and Economic Research at the former University of Durban, Westville in the mid-1980s, a friend and a neighbor in Durban for 2 decades until his sad passing in January 2006. Trevor Bell was deeply appreciative of the real purpose of economics, that of improving the material conditions of the majority of a country's population. And he possessed the creative imagination essential for really top-notch scholarship, a feature all too often lacking in the work of merely technically competent economists. His influence on a whole generation of younger academic economists, especially in encouraging us to be bold and imaginative in our thinking without compromising on analytical rigor, was profound and enduring. I was very lucky to have come under his influence at a crucial stage in my career. Trevor was one of the referees when I applied for a senior research post at the University of Durban, Westville in the 1990s. And he made the point in his referee's report on my application, which he later kindly shared with me, that, quote, "Dr. Pariachi appears to understand the true purpose of economics, an improvement in the quality of life of poor and working people," unquote. It was not a statement whose significance I understood clearly enough at the time. Looking back, I could easily have interpreted his comment as being somewhat trite. Surely all economists understood this as their main purpose. But Trevor Bell, who was professor of economics at Rhodes in the 60s and again in the 1980s and would worked in the US in between, had sensed the powerfully dangerous and very different path along which mainstream economics was leading the economics profession. A road that would split economics from the concerns of ordinary man, from concerns for justice, morality, fairness, equality, well-being, indeed, for happiness. I want to speak briefly about the split, if you like, before saying something about why it is important despite current concerns about the state of the discipline, particularly after the 2008 crisis, that more students should sign up for economics courses going forward, provided that such courses are restructured and fit for purpose in the 21st century. I do this because despite the regular crises in which the discipline has found itself over the past century, in fact, and particularly the last quarter century, I remain passionate about its value and its purpose properly conceived in today's complex world. Ronald Coase was an American economist of British origin who won the Nobel Prize for inventing the idea of transaction costs in his famous paper, The Nature of the Firm, published in 1937. When Coase was 102 years old, he announced his desire with a young Chinese associate to found a new journal called Man and the Economy. What a critical connection to make, emphatically reconnecting economics to humanity. What a vision at that age. In a manifesto published in the Harvard Business Review entitled Saving Economics from the Economists, Coase argued as follows, quote, "The degree to which economics is isolated from the ordinary business of life is extraordinary and unfortunate. In the 20th century, economics consolidated as a profession. Economists could afford to write exclusively for one another. At the same time, the field experienced a paradigm shift, gradually identifying itself as a theoretical approach of economization and giving up the real world as a subject matter. Today, production is marginalized in economics, and the paradigmatic question is a rather static one of resource allocation. The tools used by economists to analyze business firms are too abstract, too speculative. This separation of economics from the working economy, Coase argued, has severely damaged both the business community and the academic discipline. Steve Keen, a passionate exponent of real-world economics, as he calls it, and the journal that goes with it, goes even further by insisting on the urgency of replacing neoclassical economics, the dominant economic paradigm of our times, from our university curricula altogether. I wouldn't go that far. But I do despair that at most universities, by definition, a place where ideas are contested and refined, rejected and sometimes resurrected, that there is such a stonewall insistence that there can be only one kind of economists, only one set of core assumptions, only one set of acceptable methodological practice, only one variety of policy advice. In macroeconomics, that privileged position is the variety that became dominant following the work of Nobel Prize winner Robert Lucas Jr. and his associates at the University of Chicago in the late 1970s, and variously described as new neoclassical economics or new consensus macroeconomics, or more colloquially as the Washington Consensus, or more pejoratively as neoliberalism. It's worth remembering that in 2003, the same Robert Lucas Jr. confidently concluded that, quote, macroeconomics has succeeded in its central problem of depression prevention, and that has been solved for all practical purposes, just 5 years before the world collapsed, in a sense. And that in 2009, after the crash of Lehman Brothers, the IMF's chief economist, Olivier Blanchard, was able to claim that the state of macro under the new consensus was, quote, good. And then the world economy, built on neoclassical foundations since the late 1970s, all but collapsed under us. No less an establishment figure than the chief economist of the Bank of England, Andrew Haldane, argued last year in 2017 paper entitled The Dappled World, that despite a degree of despair, a lack of trust in the profession, and even cynicism about the state of this dominant economics by the general public, by prospective graduate students, and by the markets after the 2008 financial and global economic crisis, that in the UK at least, there has been a noticeable increase in the number of students signing up for economics courses following significant curricular restructuring in many universities. Haldane notes, although this crisis in economics is a threat for some, for others it is an opportunity to make a great leap forward as Keynes did in the 1930s. For the students in this room who he was addressing, there is a chance to rethink economics with as clean a sheet of paper as you are ever likely to find. That is perhaps why the number of students applying to study economics in the UK has shot up over recent years. This is one of the silver linings of the crisis. No discipline could ask for a better endowment, but seizing this opportunity requires a re-examination of the contours of economics and an exploration of some new pathways. Drawing from the work of heterodox economist George Shackle, Haldane argues that as economists, we need to recognize that economic systems, quote, may often find themselves in a state of near continuous disequilibrium, not the equilibrium that is the norm in terms of standard assumptions in neoclassical economics. Indeed, even the notion of an equilibrium, stationary through time, may itself be misleading. Secondly, Haldane argues and points to the importance of looking at economic systems through a cross-disciplinary lens, drawing on insights from a range of disciplines, natural as well as social science, can provide a different perspective on individual behavior and system-wide dynamics. And thirdly, he points to the importance of radical uncertainty, a recognition that uncertainty about the future is fundamental to human decision-making and thus to the functioning of social and economic systems. Following Haldane, I would argue that these three features, disequilibrium, cross-disciplinarity, and radical uncertainty, need to be built centrally into how we develop, teach, and market economic courses going forward. At the Wits School of Economics and Business Sciences, where I work, we are about to introduce a new stream of applied development economics, in addition to existing streams in economic sciences and general economics. From the third year level, that stream will focus on the economic challenges of countries in the global south, be fully heterodox in approach, and include exposure to neoclassical, Marxist, post-Keynesian, evolutionary, and institutional economics, among other traditions. Econometrics and mathematics will remain central features of training for these new courses, but we envisage that such mathematical and technical training will not become fetishized as an end in itself, in a way that separates economics from the human condition, as Trevor Bell had sensed and feared all those decades ago. I was excited to learn just last week that some of our students in